Hey everybody, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. And today we're doing part 3, the effects of this brand new way that Bentonville is going to be cutting housing prices in half. This is part 3 of this, so definitely check out the first 2 parts. They're riveting to say the least. So let's talk about that. But before we begin, if you like and share this video with a friend or family, that would make the world of difference. I try to produce as much content as humanly possible in Northwest Arkansas, obviously, as you're fully aware. So liking and sharing just make sure that everyone can live, work, and play all in NWA. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Also, if you haven't been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack, and it sounds exactly what it is. It's a starter pack full of all the cool things Northwest Arkansas. What's going on here? What are all the downtown sections like? What are the actual hospitals like? What are the schools like? What are going on throughout the whole year? If you want that package shipped right to your home, literally it comes right to your home, enter your information below, name, address, where is this package going to? Where can I ship this awesome package to? Side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that, obviously. And. It is my favorite 4-letter F word. Free! So enter your information below and I'll make sure to get that package shipped to you right away. All right, so this is part 3 of the whole, we'll call it the trilogy, the saga of Bentonville's brand new, we'll call it like housing development project. They call it Arrow. Essentially, TLDR, too long didn't read, Bentonville's implementing a plan to make sure housing stays affordable for the future. So we've talked about the why, we've talked about the how, and now we're talking about the effects. What is this gonna affect? How is this gonna affect Northwest Arkansas, but Bentonville specifically? So we're gonna jump into that right now. All right, so I tried breaking this video down in a couple different sections, but this is gonna be more of a, we'll call a Phillip rant across the bottom there. So this is more of a Phillip rant. So I tried breaking it down, but it's just gonna be more of a stream of consciousness. So let's talk about this. Does this plan actually affect single family homes? And the short answer is no, it will not. So this will not affect single family homes at all because this doesn't really involve them really at all. You know, builders like Roush Coleman, D.R. Horton, we have other big developers here that are obviously doing just fine. They'll continue to do what they're doing and values will not actually affect that really at all. Now, obviously, inflation is here, just hanging out here. Interest rates are a little bit higher. They've come down quite a bit, but they're still hanging around. So obviously, that does affect the values of homes because obviously buying power is a factor. We know this. But besides those things, single-family home values not going anywhere. Now, the next question on people's minds will be like, well, if there's more housing available at a more affordable rate, will that affect the actual competition for single-family homes? Now, this is where the rant comes into a little bit of a Phillip rant. The other way to look at this is that if this problem wasn't solved, in general, let's say that no middle housing was actually accomplished. What would really happen in the next 5 to 10 years is that the area would stagnate. We couldn't get any more people to move here because housing is unaffordable, which actually would make potentially people to leave, which would actually drive prices down because there's over amount of homes available in the area because there's no jobs or jobs people can't stick around for long enough, stuff of that. So that is a different way of looking at this, is that they're trying to get ahead of the curve and saying if we want to be able to employ people, teachers, firefighters, EMT, hospitals, nurses, etc., we need to have that middle housing. And so that's the short answer to that, is that the other way of looking at this is that we should be more worried if they weren't doing this. That would be my concern, is if in the next 3 to 5 years, if these housing issues were not addressed, that would be a problem. Because if we didn't, then we'd probably have an overabundance of housing, which would then drive prices down because there's too much housing. And so this is just the natural progress of how areas grow. Now, the differences with Northwest Arkansas compared to other areas is that it's still within the guidelines of Northwest Arkansas. With Northwest Arkansas, we'll never be, like I mentioned before, we'll never become Austin. They don't want to become the next Austin. They want to become only Bentonville. They want to become all just Northwest Arkansas. There's not going to be massive skyscrapers everywhere. It's just not going to be the thing ever. And so the interesting part is that they're trying to get ahead of the curve, trying to solve these housing problems that are in the future. They're not here currently, but they are in the future. Let's get them addressed now before we have to deal with it in the future. So like I said, it'd be more concerning if they weren't doing that versus the other way around. And now, and kind of like the final big question is, we know the why, we know the effects, we know the how, but obviously, like, why is the growth happening? And my channel, I talk about all the great things, Northwest Arkansas, the trail systems, all the businesses moving here, etc. We know this. But really what's happening is that some of the big 3 companies, Walmart, J.B. Hunt, Tyson, they're all developing kind of bigger HQs in the area. We know Tyson has obviously closed down their Chicago plants and their South Dakota plants, moving all employees down here. JB Hunt is actually expanding their facilities here in Northwest Arkansas over in the Lowell, Springdale area. Obviously, Walmart is finishing up their major brand new campus that's going to be a real spectacle by 2025. They're actually starting to bring people in. They're actually going to do their first building launch this year. It's actually going to be an actual like wellness center for all the employees and families. So a lot of big things are happening here. Obviously, the big companies are growing bigger here. Super exciting, fun to be in the area because they invest a lot at the area, as we are fully aware. And that's the reason why these things are happening, is because as these companies like Walmart is obviously hiring a lot more people, JB Hunt hiring a lot more people, obviously Tyson hiring a lot more people, bringing people to the area. And obviously, if they don't solve these housing issues, it's going to be a problem in the next 3 to 5 years. And so I understand why Bentonville is doing this. I understand why, I'm going to have another video on this, but there's a large facility being built over in Lowell that's going to be actually remote worker centric. So it's super cool. I'll have a video on that here pretty soon. So there's a lot of different developers happening in the area and things happening in Springdale, Lowell, Bentonville, Centerton, the whole thing. But this is Bentonville's solution to that problem. And again, if these aren't actually addressed in the next couple of years, it will be a problem. Luckily, it's not at the moment. But that's the reason why this stuff is happening, is because a lot of these larger companies are growing. Great thing to be a part of. On top of that, a lot of other businesses are moving here, and so they need to bring their people here, and so they need housing for the people. So really, it's just a future thinking solution to get behind before it becomes a real problem in the far future. So that's my little rant, and kind of wrap it up there. Whoa, before we jump on to the next point, I have something brand new called Instant Home Updates. So maybe you're looking to move down to Northwest Arkansas and you're using things like Realtor.com or Zillow.com. Notifications, way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates, and it sounds exactly what it is. It's literally Instant Home Updates. So enter your information below: square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, where do you want to move to in the area? Where do you want to move to? And I'll make sure you don't. Also, every single Friday I send an email just kind of talking about all things NWA. What's going on here? What new musicians are coming here? What's the Walmart amphitheater doing? What cool things are happening at Crystal Bridges? What new businesses are moving here? What's going on this weekend? So if you enter your email below, I'll make sure you get the email sent to you right away every single Friday. But side note, you will get a little fear of missing out, a little FOMO, so to speak. But I do admit you'll be the most informed person eventually when you make your way down to Northwest Arkansas. And so the last little part of this rant is, what are they building? These aren't going to be developing single-family homes. They're not developing massive, skyscrapers and all the different stuff. So there's this unique potential opportunity that Northwest Arkansas is taking advantage of. You see this in the South Yards in Fayetteville, where it's a new complex with community centers, going to be fun events there, going to be centric around the trail systems. Like, that's going to be the idea of what Bentonville wants to do. There's going to be, like I mentioned, like just a little bit ago, in Lowell, there's a big remote worker, we'll call it community over there for housing. That's going to be developed around actual remote workers and community centric and around the trail system. So basically, they're developing new styles of housing that haven't been able to be done before, because again, Northwest Arkansas has time on its side. They have funding on its side, and so they're thinking like, okay, housing has changed dramatically in the last couple of years because of obvious reasons with pandemic stuff. But housing has changed, people's needs have changed. Northwest Arkansas is positioned to be a world leader when it comes to outdoor stuff. And so how can we make new housing in Northwest Arkansas that not only allows people that work at some of the bigger companies, mid-sized companies, remote workers, people that are training for the World Championship, biking championships here, how can we supply housing for them, be part of a large community, and still keep that awesome feel rather than having massive skyscrapers? And so they're redoing that, kind of thinking outside the box, because why not? They have all the opportunity to do so. And so that's kind of the housing that's being developed. It's not going to be single family. It's not going to be these massive skyscrapers. It's going to be that in-between thing of, people that want to move here, that want to, actually have families here and different styles of housing, be part of a community. And so that's kind of the idea that Northwest Arkansas is going for. That's the idea that Bentonville is going for. And I'm really excited to see that all transpire in the next, I would say 2 to 4 years. I'm really excited to see that happen. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you are thinking about coming down to Northwest Arkansas, download my 3-day itinerary link below. Maybe you're an adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you have kids. There's a 3-day itinerary link down below for you. So go ahead and download it, use it when you get down here. Also, when you do come down here, I can give you the $10 tour, so I can kind of show you around the whole area. Plus, we can check out some homes for sale or for rent and see how far your dollar will go in Northwest Arkansas, compared to where you're coming from. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.